is why you should never accept a coffee date for a first date. Perhaps it sounds convenient to you because you don't need to spend the whole evening with a stranger you may not like. But a guy who just invites you for coffee shows such low effort, it almost shows as if he's not interested in getting to know you. As if he says, let that girl prove herself first before I'm willing to take her out for dinner.
It is. That's the point.
Madam, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be advising women to not go out on coffee dates when you look like you're one stiff breeze away from breaking your hip. You clearly know nothing about men. Men, as you always like to put it, are natural hunters, which means that we want to take the path of least resistance and expend as precious few resources as humanly possible for maximum gain. And if you expect that man to waste 2 hours of his life on a meal for a woman who may or may not be worth the company, then you can bet your brittle-boned behind, thanks be to YouTube, that man is gonna vet that woman with a $5 cup of coffee before he commits to spending $50 on a plate of overcooked chicken. That man has every right to know if it's worth spending the additional time and money with that woman before committing to the massive nuisance that is the modern dinner date. So yeah, that chick does have to earn the dinner date. That's the point.
But let me tell you what this says about you. If you accept a coffee date, that actually shows that you accept the bare minimum, and that shows how you see yourself. Because if you don't see yourself as being worthy of something more than just a coffee, how can he be convinced?
Dear God in heaven, gentlemen, what is it like to be so wrong?
Miss, are you hungry? What's your obsession with dinner? Listen, if you want a sandwich, go fix yourself a sandwich, then come back online and talk about how you're entitled to a 25-year-old millionaire. There's plenty of time. Now, I know that you probably lack the cranial capacity needed to shove a piece of meat between 2 slices of bread, but I'm sure with enough YouTube tutorials and some blind luck, you could probably figure it out within the next 6 days. Because with the advice that you're peddling, you've already proven that you're not only unworthy of a dinner date, you're not even worth the price of a cup of coffee. But that's the point of a coffee date. It shows that you're totally fine with a casual atmosphere to see where things go. It takes a lot of pressure off the dude as well as the woman and allows them to see if things are worth moving forward. And that's more important to a man than making sure that you're thoroughly fed.
The purpose of dating is to meet new people and maybe to meet a potential boyfriend while having fun. But a coffee date doesn't sound like fun. It sounds more like a job. Okay, I'll go sit there for half an hour, see if he's worth it, see if I like him, and then we're talking. And then it's the coffee date that becomes a waste of time, because how much can you get to know somebody in half an hour to an hour? Let him take you out for dinner and enjoy it, and never forget you're a free woman. If you don't like the guy, kindly excuse yourself and leave.
Check, please.
So your advice to women is to just dine and dash? Well, that's just incredibly rude. There are easier ways to score free food than going through the trouble of demanding a dinner date. If you're really that desperate, you can always go dumpster diving behind the local supermarket. Is it dignified? Well, of course not, but neither is your plan. At least dumpster diving fulfills a basic need. What you're proposing is downright disrespectful. It's all about you and how great you think you are. But if we're being honest, I'm just not seeing it. And most self-respecting men, if they ever agree to meet you for dinner for reasons that defy basic logic, I'm sure that they'll order the most expensive thing on the menu and get a nice bottle of single malt scotch and a massive dessert platter, which will most likely impress you, and then they'll pretend to go to the bathroom, ditch you with the check, and then spend the evening drinking scotch, smoking cigars, and playing some Blades of Steel. Is that classy? Well, probably not, but an 8-bit hockey fight simulator is still better than wasting money on you.
It's the perfect plan.
This is how you do not plan a freaking date. You are gonna get rejected. I am here gonna show you with receipts. I pulled this one from the archive. Let's get into it. I had been on one date with this man and I got right in that group chat after the first date telling the girlies, I think this guy is great. I had such a nice time with him. We had so much fun. We had a lot in common. I could not wait to go on a second date with him. A week or so later, he finally texts me and is like, hey, are you free Sunday for brunch? I'm like, yeah, great. That Saturday night, he sends me this text, are you still up for brunch? Yes, I'm still up for brunch. You're saying that 5 p.m. on Saturday, brunch assumingly would be Sunday, noon, 1. Yeah, what are you thinking? I could come your way if you know a good spot.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
So, for those of you who don't remember, or for those of you who have lives, this was a chick who was completely rejected by a matchmaker who sets people up at $3,500 a pop, and she sabotaged herself so many times that she has an archive of personal messages that she uses with the intent of shaming men by sharing their private correspondence in exchange for internet clout. Now, with this one exchange, I can't see what's going on here. This guy is offering to drive out to her neck of the woods, which is a massive pain most of the time, and he simply wants to know what's out there, because contrary to popular belief, men don't spend their time studying road maps and restaurants of new towns. So it's a perfectly fair question. But naturally, because this chick subsides strictly on marshmallows and TikTok views, she can't help but find herself a reason to make herself look like a befuddled donkey. She just can't help herself. She literally has nothing else going for her.
Okay, let me do the heavy lifting for you, buddy. So I give him a list of these places and I add, not sure if any take a res, meaning, hey buddy, I'm giving you 3 options of places I'd like to go, but you are gonna have to do the footwork to determine whether or not they even require reservations. A lot of brunch places don't, or what the deal is. He says, oh, the Dutch Eye. Not even sure what that means. Like, oh, is that a plan? No. So then that morning I get a text from him. Howdy, how does 2 sound?
And
Gentlemen and gents, I'm gonna have to let you in on a little secret. I'm not really Scottish. I'm gonna give you a second to hide your shock. Okay, done. So I'm merely guessing that this dude, when he said he was either agreeing on a restaurant or subtly telling this woman to watch the movie Highlander. I'm gonna assume that this guy was agreeing on a place. So with that being said, woman, it was your turn to send a message back, but you chose to be passive aggressive, which was totally unnecessary and uncalled for. You're complaining about him not doing the heavy lifting to plan a date, but at the same time, you can't even be bothered to lift a finger to ask him if you had a plan or not. Now I know you prefer to transmit your thoughts into the ethereal plane and assume this man isn't listening to you, but in this reality, if you want a man to talk to you, you're gonna need to find a more efficient way to communicate outside of telepathy. But at this point, I'm just convinced you want to be alone, because without your daily allotment of TikTok likes, you'll most likely shrivel up and dry out faster than you already are.
I never heard back from him the night before, so what do I say? Oh, when I didn't hear back last night about a reservation or anything concrete, I made plans for this afternoon. You cannot, for a second date, try and make plans the morning of. Even less than 24 hours. Like, your girl is busy. We are not sitting around waiting for you to reach out. Goodbye. And so what is his response? Okay, cool. He, I think, got the point. But either way, I was like, this has to be like one of the laziest attempts at putting a second date together. Like, bro, second date, what are you doing? You missed out is what happened. Sorry.
And this is exactly how a self-respecting man should deal with a disrespectful broad, gentlemen and gents. This foul creature was probably assuming this man was gonna beg and apologize and shower her with compliments in exchange for spending the afternoon with her, only for him to give her a 2-word reply and move on with his life. This is how men have adapted to the modern dating world. The second a woman shows any kind of toxicity, he's gone. No second chances, no demands for explanations, just leaving and heading out to frisbee golf. Or regular golf, if that's how you choose to live your life. And this woman has deluded herself into thinking that she gets the last laugh by saying that he's missing out. But in reality, that man is probably celebrating the notion that he didn't dodge a bullet. He straight up dodged a howitzer barrage. Meanwhile, modern women are going absolutely nuts because men have adapted to their entitled behavior, and the end result is absolutely fantastic.
I've lost my whole family and it sucks. So a lot of times when people ask me if they should do it, I tell them no. I tell them that it makes life really hard. It makes dating really hard. It makes your family life really hard. It makes intimacy hard, if you're putting yourself out there and the world is now judging you, you have to be okay with being shamed every day of your life.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
You know, it takes a special kind of foolishness to think that a career in the adult content industry is somehow a smart career move. It's both a literal and metaphorical meat grinder. And back when shame was one of the most valuable assets a woman could have, that was a no-brainer. If you wanted a future of every kind, you stayed away from that stuff like the plague. But now that shame has been weaponized against common sense, we now have a massive legion of women who have no problem sacrificing their dignity, reputation, and their rotted out slime receptacle of unmerciful torment if it means making a bunch of quick money. And after the well starts to dry up, again both literally and metaphorically, they'll start to post cringe regret videos, also while promoting their OnlyFreaks accounts. Yeah, nice try, woman. I got better things to do with my money, like stocking up on dental floss, because unlike you, dental floss is incredibly practical and a lot more useful.
I don't even want to have children because I'm worried of the way that people will treat my child.
Liar, liar, liar.
With me personally, my mom was supportive in the beginning. She kind of just let me do whatever, that I think it was a good thing. I had a lot of freedom. As time progressed and I became successful, I started to feel like my mom was using me so that she could live a more luxurious lifestyle. When I started to set like these boundaries, not giving her money or things like that, it made our relationship a bit more difficult and almost toxic. And so it sucks. I don't have a mom anymore. I don't talk to her. I miss having a mom. I feel like you can't rewind and you can't go back. I don't have that relationship with her anymore. I don't ever think I will. And that bums me out. Bums me out a lot.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
Yeah, that's a real bummer, dude. You completely severed your relationship with the woman who gave birth to you after she decided your only value was your money. Man, that just blows. Now, I know this video is kind of old, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to have sympathy for a woman who decided that ruining her life and the lives of her family wasn't enough. She had to go and completely destroy the life of an innocent child by giving birth to one, all while baby trapping the father into marriage. So I guess when you're in the business of destroying lives, you might as well just go for broke at that point. And she's gonna sit there and avoid any accountability while she milks the internet for sympathy harder than she milks certain pieces of male anatomy for a paycheck. Nobody forced you into the industry, sweetheart. You could have said no at any time, but when the cards were on the table, you took the money in exchange for your family and privacy. But none of us can really say that we're shocked, though. You are a modern woman after all.
I talked to my dad and he struggles with my job being in the industry. He's also religious. Recently I wanted to go visit him and he said that I can't go visit because his wife, my stepmom, doesn't want me there. I'm not allowed to go visit my dad anymore because my stepmom doesn't like that I do. But then he told me that when I was like, can we like go get coffee and like we could go like get breakfast, and he's like, I don't want to be seen in public with you. And that just hurt so bad and it sucks. I lost my family. I don't talk to like my brothers or sisters. I think that they all kind of like try to take advantage of me and stuff, or they're just like, my dad don't want to be around me.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
You mean to tell me that your father, a religious man, doesn't want to be seen in public with you? Well, I'm just shocked. Not that your dad would say that. No, I'm shocked that you're shocked. Imagine your father sitting at the diner with you, then all of a sudden some random dude comes up to the table and says that he's a fan and wants your autograph. There is no possible way that you can even comprehend the sheer amount of humiliation your father would feel having to endure that. The notion that you threw out everything good about yourself so that you could take a job where you're constantly getting railed by dudes on camera probably destroyed a massive piece of your father, and he's not willing to relive that kind of pain just because you want to see him. You chose this. All of it. And now you have to live with the consequences. And you're not going to get a single iota of sympathy from any of us, sister. You destroyed countless lives. And there's no sense wasting perfectly good sympathy on a woman who decided to make prostitution her career. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, thank you so much for checking out the new video. And if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment or two. Let's get together and give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Again, thank you so much for checking out this new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.